Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Wind Up, a weekly chat show where I, microphone, and my co-host, Shaun Philip Naylor, recap and review each week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, from the very beginning all the way up to the finale. Don't forget you can follow us over on our Instagram, the windup_pod, to keep up to date with all of the backstage shenanigans, including outtakes and other tidbits. You can follow both of us at Shaun Philip Official and at microphone with an F, not a PH, to keep up to date with what we're up to as well. Otherwise, hello, Shaun.
Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What was that?
It's been a long day. I don't know if you heard, but I've been away working on a cruise this past week, so I am pooped.
That was me, thank you.
Oh.
That was me, that's right.
I was a lady
of luxury for the past week, and now I'm back to being a busy working girl on land.
Okay, now I was intensely following along your cruise journey.
Yes.
And I know that there was no runway for you really on that cruise, but I think your best look for me, outside of Little Mermaid vibes, and I did like your brown wig, but your Gatsby outfit, hello.
Oh, you liked that?
Love that. Love the hair, love the shoes, love the dress, love everything.
So I didn't have a Gatsby outfit, so I was like, fuck, what do I wear for Gatsby? I don't have anything like fringy or like 1920s. But I had that nude lace dress and I had that coat that I was wearing as well. I'm like, oh, that'll do. Let's pair those two together. And I curled that wig that day on the boat. Don't recommend doing that. No, because I had it between my knees and I burnt my knee and I burnt both hands and I burnt other bits and pieces just from slipping because the boat was rocking. And
not your flaps, I hope.
No, they were safely tucked away. But I burnt other bits and pieces and it was just not a fun experience. So I don't recommend trying to curl a wig or curl hair on a boat. But no, it was a fun week. I loved that Gatsby outfit. My personal favorite is my new profile picture on both Facebook and Instagram.
Oh yes,
that striped outfit with the brown hair while the ocean's behind me is that was a stunning photo. Just like top model quality right there.
That's right. You look like a Ru girl if ever I've seen one.
Let's get me on next season. So before we get stuck into this week's episode, quick thoughts on this week.
One of the strongest episodes for me, I think. Obviously we're going to delve into a lot of this, but Hannah Conda's Middle Perth, I think I've watched that about 6 times. Thought it was hilarious. The swimsuits and the runways, not sure about that. And I have some very, very serious thoughts about the lip sync. What did you think?
I loved the idea of the challenge. I mean, they always do a branding challenge, so loved that. Loved the concept of the runway, not too fussed on the execution of the runway. And yeah, I have some very strong thoughts on the lip sync as well. But all right, let's get stuck into it. So last week, obviously, we said goodbye to You're a Guy.
Yuri, bye.
Yuri, bye. She left a lovely mirror message, which is live fast, eat ass. There was something else in the middle that I couldn't read and couldn't understand what the queens were saying. And then she names Spanky for the win.
Yes. So
Spanky
seems to be winning over a few hearts, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, would not have picked that coming into episode 1. Lots of love for Yuri from the Queens, including a resounding group. Come. I mean, I think that's going to be Yuri's thing just for the next foreseeable future. Is just everyone's just going to look at Yuri and just be like, "Come."
I wonder if she has any regrets. No.
Come queens generally don't have regrets. Um,
Speaking from experience.
I plead the fifth. So when we get the queens coming back into the workroom, they're still singing that Bosom Buddy song, and I still hate it. I hate it. I hate that Bosom
You
Buddy
can listen
song.
to it on Spotify now.
No, 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 no. I fucking hate it. That Bosom Buddy. I mean, it's catchy because it gets stuck in your head, but I hate it. Hate it. Last season's song was much better.
Queens down under.
Oh,
Right?
I love that. Yeah, I love that one so much more. Queens down under, our tucker's tight. Queens down under, dun dun dun, cause we fight. So much better than birds and buddies, partners in crime. Ugh, no, horrible. I do want to make a quick note. So we're at episode 6, and we're already at our top 5, which compared to the most recent US season, season 14, at episode 6, they still had 10 queens remaining.
Well, even last year we had more episodes than we do this year.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I'm sure we did.
Still
IMDb told me.
Still only 8.
Really?
Yep. You jump on Stan and there's still only 8 episodes. But we had 4 queens going into the finale because Art Simone came back. Whereas we've had no one come back this season. And just a little precursor, I know I've mentioned it in the past couple of episodes. So my insider tea as to the top 4 was wrong.
Because well, you say we've mentioned it. You and I have discussed it, but none of it made it to the show. So, hey guys.
Oh, well, okay. But yeah, so the queen that I was told makes top 4 went home tonight. So yeah, that one. So I was told she made top 4, and we'll get to it when it comes to it, but I was actually expecting her to make top 4 because I actually thought the bottom 2 was going to be a different bottom 2. I do love how the queens are making a joke that Minnie Cooper is still haunting the workroom.
Oh, God bless you, Minnie.
We get some squashing of some drama between Queen and Beverly. I do appreciate that Queen was like, I'm not apologizing for anything because I don't want her to take that as a win. I'm going to apologize for the way that I acted, which I think is very big of her. And I do think like it's the one thing I've noticed this season with the Queens is there's drama, resolution, drama, resolution, drama, resolution. There's no ongoing. Yes, actually, yeah, literally. They've played this really well, the producers this season.
Did they play it well, or did you just keep repeating the same thing?
Yeah, but you've got to remember a lot of it will be set up by the producers.
True.
So they've played it well this season. I thought it was interesting that this week there was no mini challenge.
I didn't even notice.
They just jumped straight into the maxi challenge. There was no mini challenge, no nothing. Just straight in. You get the sirens. Rue comes in that plaid 4-piece suit, which is all plaid and just plaid everywhere and plaid on plaid on plaid.
Plaid, 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 plaid.
And then just go straight into this week's maxi challenge. And
which
you're like,
was what?
So it's promoting each queen's hometown. So the way that it's worded at the start, it means, obviously they're going to be doing a tourism video to promote their hometowns. But under the surface, if you're a regular Drag Race viewer, you know fully well it is not actually that. It's a branding challenge. So branding each queen so that way then we can get to know each queen a little bit better. So not necessarily anything to do with the cities that they're from, more just let's get to know these queens better, especially at this stage of the competition, so the fans can pick their favorites.
And how was their, obviously Rue sets it all up and then they go away and they start working on their things. How was everyone's stick figures? It looked like they got little scrapbook pieces of paper from primary school.
Well, I mean, I did love how you got Queen and Hannah asking Spanky if hers was a palm tree. but yeah, like I guess with storyboards, yeah, you generally just draw stick figures just to quickly do it. But they're sort all horrible looking, like just very generic stick figures, and just like stick, stick, and like
How thin
were
do
you
you
just told
think you are, girls?
were you just told to quickly draw something for the camera and then you're gonna actually do it later? Um, when all the queens are sitting down talking about it, Bev's original idea for the Gold Coast sounded great. Like the
What
whole
was her original?
fake. So when she's sitting there going, oh, everyone's fake, everyone's vapid, everyone's like trying to be something that they're not. Like her original concept sounded great. It just sucks she didn't do any of that. Um, and then we get a lovely little chat between all the queens when Spanky makes mention about how she may not have her phone on loud because she hates the sound of it, but if you ring her, she will pick up. I think it's good, a good edit for Spanky, this
Yeah,
especially this week in particular. Like she's come across as such a very likable, humble, respectable queen. Um, like I think, yeah, I think Spanky's definitely gonna be one of the top two for me, alongside Hanaconda.
I
I
love
think,
that you say this because in episode 1, you were like, nah.
yeah, no, I'm willing to admit that I changed my tune as I watched the season. And the Queens, like, obviously, first impressions make a big
Mm-hmm.
impact on people. My first impression of Spanky was I did not rate her. But watching the episodes go on, Spanky's won me over.
I think as well, like she just genuinely seems kind.
Absolutely.
And
Like, we then get a lovely video message from First Nations model Samantha Harris. Um,
who today, Samantha Harris did like our post on Instagram. Thanks,
oh,
Sam.
did she?
She did.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
Um, I love that they're including people like Samantha Harris as special guests, like getting more First Nations people on board. Because, I mean, we've got more celebrities that aren't just your stock standard white people. Like,
Or just Jessica Malboy.
I was just about to say, get Jessica Malboy on board.
I mean, she would totally be aboard, and I love it. I'm here for it. The only thing I
You could have,
can't stand is when Jessica Malboy sings everything she's supposed to say.
you could have used her for the singing challenge.
Oh, 100% they could have done that.
Yeah, easily use Jessica Malboy for that. Perfect. Or Casey Donovan. She's not doing anything. Well, she's not. She's just done whatever show just happened in Brisbane and stole someone's dog. Um, did you not see that?
What?
Did you not see that?
Dog thievery?
Well, there's a big, huge story and drama about it, but yeah, there
Allegedly.
was
You got to say alleged.
alleged,
The police said
alleged. Well, no, it was just
allegedly.
they never named Casey Donovan. Other people named Casey Donovan as the alleged dog thief. Um, but yeah. So during the video message with Samantha Harris, the Queen's attempts some enunciation, and I, for the life of me, could not even write, or I tried to write down the word disestablishmentarianism. Was that it? You didn't even write it down, did you?
This.
Disestablishmentarianism. I feel
Let's
like.
move on before we hurt ourselves.
And then obviously they all get asked to say she done already done had herses.
Oh, look what she can say.
But of course. But I do love how when Samantha said it, it sounded like she said she done already done had herses, as in like the car that carries the coffin. And I'm like, oh, is she precursoring something here? Um, and then I didn't realize. So I had when I rewatched this again to take down all my notes, I put the captions on so I could actually catch everything and not miss anything. When I first watched it, I thought she might have had a speech impediment because when she says "May the best," because she says "May the best swag queen win."
Yes.
I at first, when I first watched this on Saturday, I thought she said "May the best swag queen win," and I thought she just had a speech impediment and couldn't say drag. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. When I rewatched it today and it says "May the best swag queen win," I was like, oh, oh, here's me thinking she just had a speech impediment. We then get a walkthrough with Rue going through all the queens and their things. Um, she starts off with Spanky and calls Spanky a dirty street whore.
I mean,
I mean,
if the
if the shoe fits.
I was going to say if the ill-fitting pink pleather, whatever it was that she wore last week or the other week, fits.
Mm, mm, mm. Last week,
Spanky knows who she is. She's good with it.
that horrible thing with the gaping flaps, um, and then Spanky as well. But yeah, so Rue essentially Spanky goes, "I'm going to do it like this because I'm like this, but I'm not going to do that." And Rue's just like, "You're a dirty street whore. Play into that." And Spanky's just like, "Rue gives you advice. You pick that advice up
Mhm.
off the table and you take it." Because she then realizes they're not after a tourism video of your hometown. They want to see you as a queen experiencing life in your hometown. They want to know what you're like. They want to know what your town is like for you.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
fact so Beverly Kills is next. She has not seen Muriel's wedding.
She has now because she's shared it on her socials that she's watched it. I feel like after that episode went to air, she just got bombarded with everybody going, "What?"
No,
And
it would
Rue
have
having to be like, "I have to rethink my whole life now."
it would have been after she got back from filming. She would have
Hmm.
been like, I need to watch this to understand. But I was just like, how have you not seen Muriel's Wedding? It's an Australian classic.
That was filmed on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, because
Iconically filmed on the Gold Coast.
it was down in Tweed Heads where they pretended it was porpoise spit.
Yeah, that hotel that like right at the end that the guy's swimming
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
pool and then he comes up. That's the Pink Hotel in Cool and Get Up.
yeah.
Come on,
Like,
Beverly.
how do you not know your history, especially if you're from the Gold Coast?
Banned from the
Um,
Gold Coast. She's banned. Next, she'll be telling us that she didn't know that Kylie Minogue and Guy Pearce filmed that swinging safari down at the same spot at Frog Rock like 5 years ago.
Swinging Safari.
Yeah, it's set in the 70s and you know Frog Rock down at Snapper
Yeah,
Rocks.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's
I
this
didn't.
whale that washes up, and but all the parents are swinging. Like it's this whole. Watch it; it's funny. Kylie Minogue's in it with Guy Pearce.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
I think it's Guy
No,
Pearce.
I feel like it probably is Guy Pearce.
I think so.
Beverly struggles to grasp the concept of marketing herself. So Rue's dropping all these hints, being like, I want to know you. I want to know who this kid is that wanted to start doing drag. And she's sitting there, obviously struggling to grasp the concept of, oh, I need to brand and market myself, not the Gold Coast, which is clearly shown in her video, which was trash. But we'll get to that. And we get a real quick montage, like very quick montage of Rue chatting to Queen, Hannah, and Molly, essentially telling them all the same thing to brand yourself, not the city. So
I don't know how
very
clearer
quick,
she could have been.
like she very quickly, like the editing for that one, they very quickly skimmed through their three walkthroughs. I mean, they could have easily given them all the same amount of time this episode.
I feel like the editors were like, Molly Poppins has got 16 scenes that she wants us to film. We're going to have to cut some of this.
I will get to that, but I was just like, when they said that, I'm like, how? How? And how are all 16 of them the same thing? Um, we get a workroom moment between Beverly Kills and Hannah Conda. So Beverly asking, how can I improve?
You
And
can stop.
Hannah cuts her off. And it's just like Hannah just out of the blue is like attacking Beverly, calling her false.
That chair
Queen
spun around real quick, didn't it, when she was at that
ah
mirror?
Queen joining in, saying that Beverly's not being authentic. Both of them just essentially being like, the one thing that frustrated me, and I've got it in my notes later on, and I'll bring it up again. They're just being like, just
Mm.
be what, be,
They don't
be
even know what
what,
they wanted to be at this point.
just be. It's fucking bullshit advice. This is one of the rare times for this season. Again, I don't personally know her, but just for this season, this is one of the rare times that I'm actually siding with Beverly, being that they're attacking her and giving her absolutely no constructive advice. They're just saying, just be. Be what? Give her some actual constructive advice. Give her some help. She's asking for help on how to come across as more personable, more likable, and you're just telling her just be. Like,
No
fuck off
wonder
with your
she's
hippie bullshit.
confused.
Like, I mean, she's 21. Yes, she's young. She's not going to know herself at that age. None of us did. Um,
I knew a lot of
like,
other people.
so did I at that age. I knew a lot of people at that age. Um, but she's not going to know herself. She's not going to know anything about herself. She's not going to know how to really tap into everything that she can do and be. So just telling her just be is bullshit advice.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
your
agree.
old your older queens actually try and help her. Don't just give her some fucking palm off bullshit. Anyways,
That's how she feels about that.
I did make a note that Spanky is getting a major winners edit, especially in this episode, because they cut to a nice little moment with her and Bev, where her just being like very supportive of Bev and just being like, fuck those bitches, you're here for yourself, not for them.
Mhm. And then
Um,
they team that nicely with Bev's confessional saying how Spanky is just like the best
top
person.
tier, a top
Yeah.
tier human, phenomenal drag queen, like literally just praising Spanky to the moon and back. Savage Garden song.
And
Which
if you want to see Microphone perform a lip sync to it wasn't To the Moon and Back,
not
was it? No, it was I
no,
Want You by Savage
yeah,
Garden. Then head on over to her Instagram at Microphone with an F, not a PH, because that's crappo.
yeah, that was my audition song, because when you audition, you have to do a lip sync of their choice and lip sync of your own. And I chose that one to show off my lip syncing prowess because I did not miss a single fucking
You did
word.
not nailed every single thing.
She knows how to use that mouth. Um, okay, so cutting back into it. So it's Maxi Challenge time, um, directed by Michelle Visage and Suzanne Paul. Now, do you know who Suzanne Paul is?
Suzanne Paul is the infomercial queen who is the nice English lady who's lived here forever. And she's on all the infomercials and she does My Perfect Eyes, which I do use from time to time. It's actually really good, but I'm pretty sure it's just hemorrhoid cream. And
Take a breath.
she also liked a post of ours today.
Same one.
Same one, because they were in the same
Yeah,
house.
yeah, because you tagged them both. Yeah.
Damn right I am. Now I'm gonna be getting like restraining orders. I'd be like, Suzanne, do you want to come on our podcast? Do you want to come on our podcast? Do you want to sell our? Could you just
So
sell our podcast?
I did love. I mean, obviously it's later in the thing going through, but I did love how she chucked in the whole. But wait, there's more. Classic infomercial line there.
Mm-hmm.
So we start with Queen Kong, who I'm just going to go through these really quickly because I hate when they spend so much time on them in the actual challenge rather
Yeah, because
than,
we're going to revisit it anyway when we get to the
yeah,
judging panel.
like
Yeah.
they don't need to show so much time on that. But I mean, Queen struggled. Like neither Michelle or Suzanne was really feeling it. Um, Queen wasn't really feeling it herself. Like you could tell she was struggling a little bit. Um, Spanky makes both Michelle and Suzanne laugh. And I do love the little interaction between Suzanne and Spanky when she's like, "Do you have a tagline?" Spanky's like, "Palmerston North, fuck yeah!" And Suzanne's like, "No,
Palmy
I
for
prefer mine."
palmies.
Yeah, like I love that. Suzanne's just like, "No, no, we're gonna do mine,"
I
and
mean,
I
girl
love that.
knows what works.
But Spanky ended up doing both anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote Hannah comes across as some over the top British Beatrix Potter type persona.
I just like, I just like, in the final edit is amazing, but just when she's like, oh, you caught me shaving my toes. I
I
don't
didn't
know why I
realize
find that so funny.
it wasn't until I clicked when she's like Middle Perth and shaving the
Because
toes,
she
she's calling
Hobbit.
herself a
Yeah.
hobbit. But I didn't get that at first. When she's just like, "Oh, you caught me shaving my toes," I was like, "Okay, why? Why are you shaving your toes?" Although I loved when she's like, "I'm gonna fight a black swan." Um, yeah, Hannah, her thing came across. Oh, that's right, Spanky's. Just quickly going back to Spanky. I do love when she did her first little thing, and Michelle was like, "That was a good rehearsal,"
Yes.
and Spanky was like, "Oh, that's not the first one. Okay." Molly comes across with just too many ideas. I mean, she walks in and says she's got 16 scenes to film, whereas every
Wait,
other
there's
queen has
more.
5. Like, Molly just clearly doesn't know how to edit. But of the 16 scenes, 15 of them were the same thing. Like, mm, again, as I said, the bottom two tonight were not my bottom two. Beverly has a very obscure concept. I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. I just thought it was very convoluted.
Oh, I mean, firstly, the Irwins don't live on the Gold Coast. They live Sunshine Coast.
Correct.
Secondly, as Michelle said, why are you a lesbian looking for a sugar daddy?
Yep. But thirdly, as well, like nothing about her thing screamed anything to do with her or the Gold Coast.
No. So she
Like,
really, when Rue was like pushing it in her face, going, let's hear about you. I want to know who you are. She clearly missed that.
yeah, no.
Instead, she wanted to wee on the poor man who got stung by the thing.
I mean, I would pee on him as well, but that's a different story. We then go back into the workroom and we get a lovely mirror chat with the queens about the whole concept of family and success.
Ooh, mm-hmm.
Like the whole your success is not determined by your family life, etc. Queen opens up about her deceased sister having to hide
Oh,
herself to
so
not
sad.
disappoint her family. um yeah, it's so disappointing, like, to hear that still to this day you get so many people that aren't open and supporting of what their kids want to do. And it's interesting that we got this week because I've been watching Canada's Drag Race as well. So Canada had a lovely chat about how, so they got or not mirror message, they got video messages. The top 5 got video messages from their loved ones, all supporting them. And then us down under, we had the queens chatting about how some of their families are still not supporting them.
Oh,
So it's
welcome to Australia.
a very huge contrast
Mm.
between the two. But I thought it was a lovely chat between all the queens discussing, their families and success and how they feel and how their families feel.
100%. And it definitely gave a little bit of insight, I think, as to why Beverly has kind of been so cagey with some of the queens. And I hope that I'm sure they all did, but I hope they took it on board with the fact that, she comes from a family where they have to be successful and they've got to fake it
Yeah.
until they make it. And so
I mean,
if you're faking it until you're making it, then you are going to be a little bit disingenuine because you're trying to be something that you're not, essentially, or you're not yet.
100%. Like, it's going to be tough for someone like Beverly, who, if she's trying to live up to her father's expectations and essentially in her father's shadow, and she's trying her best to be the best that she can be, it would be a hard thing, especially at that age, to still
Mm-hmm.
be doing that. Because, I mean, we're old bitter queens now. So we don't give a fuck if our family is supportive or, you know, looking out. I mean, granted, yes, because again, my parents watch this. I love the fact that they are supportive and look out for me, and they're very keen to see me succeed. But we're at an age now where if they weren't, it wouldn't be a factor for us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're still young, growing up, you care very much what your family thinks.
Well, it's funny
As you
that
get,
this comes back around again during the conversation with Queen with the judges.
oh yeah, I've got that. Yeah. So
So just
yeah,
full circle
it's
moment coming up later on, kids.
100%. Main stage time. We get Mama Rue walking down the runway in a gorgeous gold and black silhouette. Very classic Rue. You didn't like it?
Love the hair, love the makeup, love the earrings, love the idea of the dress, but I've watched it back a couple of times now, and the way that the dress, you got all the different lines, they're going different directions. The lines that go across her breasts make them look like one's up here and one's down here.
Oh no, she has that all the time. I've noticed that a lot.
Come on,
Her boobs always look lopsided.
like
Um,
yours did that night. You had too many
we don't talk.
marks.
We don't talk about that night.
No, we just watch
We
it
don't.
back on repeat.
No, no, no. No, you do. I don't.
I do. I show it to strangers in the street. Look at this drunk
Watch it.
queen.
Watch her take her tits off. Um,
She puts them on her head in a minute.
but yeah, I thought Mama Ru looked good. I thought it was a classic Ru silhouette. Nothing outstanding, nothing like wow factor.
I do like Rue when she
Um,
has red hair, but
I enjoy it because it's different. Because
mm,
I mean, we know Ru is the quintessential blonde, so when she does something different, I like it. I mean, she brought some amazing looks last season, like that UGG boot look, like those that thigh high boots with the jacket and the one piece of the same material. Oh, that was just perfection. But
no, we've
this
got two
season,
more episodes to see what she's going to pull out of the bag.
not expecting much. Um, I did think it was interesting to note there was no guest judge again.
Again, yes, they could have used Suzanne. They were not going to
Um,
zoom in, you know.
I really, I really think Stan needs to up the budget. Like Stan needs to throw some more money. But I mean, they're making a shit ton of money. The gays are all paying subscriptions to watch Drag Race, so they need
And
to
we do
throw
because
some.
they've got all the drag races on there.
Yeah, like they really need to throw some more money at Down Under to up not only production values but get some guest judges on every single week.
Maybe
Runway theme this week is the swimsuit edition. I was excited to see this because I'm like, okay, drag swimsuits very rarely done because it's hard to get a good, silhouette in a swimsuit and get a nice, look, etc. And I was proven right. Um, we get Queen Kong down first in a nuded white one piece. She's channeling a Pacific warrior queen called Napa Noir. Napa Noir? Napa
Napa
Noir.
Noir.
Um, I thought it was okay. It was there wasn't anything majorly wrong with it. It just wasn't wow.
I thought I can't remember which judge said it. It was either Michelle or Rue said that it was saying that it's probably Reese said that it moved really well on the stage, which
Mm,
it did. That beautiful light fabric is going to do that. But then I think it was Reese actually, and then he
it
said that
was.
when she was standing still,
You could see all the unfinished elements. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Like, but it just like I get like she's channeling, a goddess here, but I'm your golden girl, I'm your Aphrodite, all right? Like, come on. That like let's get goddess.
Yeah.
Let's a
I
goddess
was just
isn't gonna wear like some tights on her arms pretending they're gloves with some
I just
crystals on them.
I just didn't understand why on the nude part of her one piece, why there was just a little bit of stones at the hip, but then the rest of it was just plain. Like, why wouldn't you take the stones all the way up through where those two white bits were? Like, there was just so much more that I feel like she probably could have done. It's just, yeah.
Makeup and hair was lovely though.
Oh, she always looks phenomenal.
Mm.
Spanky Jackson next, paying homage to Pamela Anderson in the Baywatch era. I thought this outfit was incredible. Um, I didn't like the random different sized stones all over it. I feel like it should have just been one sized stone to give it a little bit of sparkle. And I hated the boots. I
Well,
hated the
funny you should
boots.
say that. As somebody who in an old job used to be a manager for UGG, and Pamela Anderson
Mm-hmm.
made UGGs so famous in the 90s, she should have wore the UGG heels with the
UGG have
fluffy.
heels.
Yeah,
Do they still have them?
I'll hook you up. It's fine.
Yeah, please.
Um,
I want a pair of UGG heels.
yeah, no, they're really cute. They do all sorts of different ones. But yeah, like if she had had UGG heels on, like
Yeah,
elevated.
yeah. I mean, the judges do call her out on having a thirsty hair, which it was. It was very thirsty
And
hair.
they call her out pretty soon after the fact that she's like, this is the biggest hair I've ever worn. And they're like, she thirsty.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, she looked great. Like one of my favorites of the night.
Yeah.
Um, like if I was going to do a swimsuit look, this would 100% be my first choice to do is the Baywatch
And it
swimsuit.
was like, even though the heels were a bit of a mess, the rest of it was cohesive. Benny did
Yes.
say he wished that she didn't have a blow up lifesaver,
Yeah,
and that she had like a real one,
a
but
real one. Yeah.
don't, much of a muchness.
I didn't notice it was blow up, so Benny's paying more attention to detail than I am. Next, we have Molly Poppins as a GC meter maid. I thought it was boring. It was not elevated. It was a gold one piece with a sash and a hat. And she started talking like Gemma Collins, which I didn't understand because Gemma Collins is not from the GC. I mean, her initials are GC, but it's got nothing to do with the Gold Coast. Um, I just thought she could have elevated it. It just was boring for me.
Um, yeah, look, I agree. She came out as a meter maid, and I was like, she first did drag on the Gold Coast. Is this new information? Like,
I was shocked by that too because I mean, depending on how long she's been doing drag,
I mean, she
I've never
was
heard.
famous in the 90s when she had that TV show. So she must be doing it a while.
Took me a second. No, but seriously, like I was just like, Molly started doing drag on the Gold Coast. So when did she start doing drag on the Gold Coast? Because I've lived here 13 years.
Year did
And
you move to the Gold Coast?
when I was 21, so what, I'm 33 this year, so 12 years ago. Um,
Hmm.
so 2010, 2010, I moved to the Gold Coast.
I moved here in 2008. Cheers to us old queens.
Chink. So depending when she was doing drag on the Gold Coast here, I've
1975. She was one of the original meter maids.
I never heard of her. So I was shocked when she was like, I started drag on the Gold Coast. I'm like, where? Where
Forgettable.
did where did you start drag? Which club? With who? Um, but yeah, I just thought her outfit was boring. Um, moving on, because that's all I have to say about that. Hanaconda as a futuristic Valley of the Dolls mixed with Barbarella-esque bathing suit.
I have my theories
Um,
about this.
I liked the idea. Like the idea was a great idea. Execution, not so much. Um, I didn't like the color of the one piece underneath, like that weird, like royal blue with the purple spirals and the purple bikini bottom.
Looks better
Yeah,
in her photo shoot that she's done afterwards. The colors look really, really flattering and really pretty.
they
But
always do.
yeah, on camera, on the like video camera, on the talkies, doesn't look good. But I will say I have a theory, and my theory is probably wrong, and that's okay because I'm allowed to be wrong. I'm usually wrong. But I feel like looking back on all of Hannah's outfits, I feel like Hannah might be a body conscious queen. Like I feel like she covered up intentionally because she may not like something, whatever that might be. And I'm not judging, I'm not saying anything bad. I would be a body conscious queen myself. Like I don't like my
I get that.
belly
Yeah,
bits, and we've all got the lumps and bumps we don't like. And I think she took this in a direction where she was like, I can cover up but still make it fun, which I
I
think
get
she
that.
did.
I get that. I get where you're coming from with that. Didn't think of that sort of avenue for it. So that's an interesting sort of look on it. Um, yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, lastly, we've got Beverly Hills as another GC meter maid. I liked her outfit more than Molly's. Hers was a lot more elevated. I didn't like that coat thing that she was wearing when she walked down. I thought that was unnecessary and just,
I think she just wanted that reveal of the little
yeah, but didn't
coins
need it.
and no,
Didn't need it.
definitely. Have you seen Beverly's photo shoot pictures?
On the ocean, like on the sand. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have.
The
Yes.
wig, she keeps doing this. She keeps putting the wrong wig with the outfits. I know Michelle said during the critiques that she loved Beverly's wigs that she wore this episode,
But
but
all of her photo shoots are a different wig because it works better. Yep.
the wig she wore on the shoot, 100 times better than that like almost
Mm-hmm.
Afro vibe wig that she wore.
Mm-hmm. And she does it with all of her photos.
Mm.
She puts a different wig with the outfit and it works better. beauty of hindsight.
It's a wonderful thing.
But I do think that Beverly's meter maid outfit was better than Molly's meter maid outfit. I think Molly's meter maid outfit was very basic and generic. Beverly's was a little bit more elevated,
I
a little
agree.
bit
I
more
think
to
what
it.
Molly did well was pay homage to the classic meter maid, whereas Beverly turned it into a drag meter maid.
But I don't think the meter maids wore one pieces. I thought they wore bikinis. I'm fairly certain they wore bikinis. Or did they used to wear one pieces and then switch to a bikini?
I mean, they definitely did wear bikinis. I've seen many a picture of meter maids in bikinis. But
Mm,
I maybe maybe it was dependent on the year. Maybe when Molly was here, all those many thousands of years ago, meter maids on the Gold Coast were wearing one pieces and
maybe. Mm.
bloomers.
So, I mean, again, if I had this category, I would have done something similar to Spanky Jackson, but as a backup, I probably would have gone with. mm, I probably would have gone very Sports Illustrated cover, like
Did you see the other girls? That would not
yes,
Mini
Yuri's was
Cooper's.
stunning.
Yuri's was amazing, but I think in terms of like a simple elegance, I really enjoyed Mini Cooper's.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
much demure, and for a woman of a certain age, if that's not ageist for me to say, um,
Wasn't a fan of Pamara's.
didn't get Pamira's. Like she was the last one to post, and
Yeah,
it was a heavily edited Photoshop upside down, like
yeah,
weird event. Faux furs was pretty.
pretty exactly. It was not wow.
No, not
Aubrey's
special.
was
She would have been out of that week if she was still here.
Aubrey's was good, but yeah,
What was Aubrey's? Oh, jellyfish.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
outside of the box. But yeah, I think if we had those queens still with us, Yuri would have been safe that week, this week.
Mm.
Minnie probably would have been safe.
Safe. Well, I mean, that's just based on the runway alone, not the
Yeah,
challenge, because we don't know
yeah.
how they would have gone with the challenge. Um,
Don't know which
we
girl
then
has a
get
marketing degree.
we then get the world premiere of each of the Queen's ads. Starting with Queen Kong. Her ad was okay. I thought several of the jokes fell flat. Um, it just came across very struggle bus, the Queen. Like
I
again,
put my
this
notes, I put not terrible, not funny.
no, yeah, it's just it, and that's the thing. It just
Isn't that weird laugh she
was
did?
it just wasn't funny. The jokes just didn't land. And I think that's the worst thing you can do while trying to do a funny thing is just not have your jokes land.
Mm.
I do love that we do get a touching moment between Rue and Queen discussing the shame queens of colors feel and how their parents react to them being gay and doing drag. Like when Queen mentioned that her dad called her and said, "Are you going to be using your last name?" Like
I would
that
be
was
like,
just
yes, Dad, because it's mine.
see, I would have turned around and been like, no, because I want absolutely zero ties to you. Like if my and this is why I'm so grateful that I've got supportive parents. If my parents had turned around and been so unsupportive of me doing drag, I would have gladly lost my last name and been like, well, then I will happily distance myself from you guys. So I'm so grateful that I've got supportive parents. Um, so I can't imagine how hard it must be for people like Queen or even RuPaul. When RuPaul started talking about her own experiences and just being
So
like,
personal for her to share, considering
especially when
it's RuPaul.
yeah, and when she turned around and was like, that'll be the last time you ever search for his validation. Um, like it was so touching to see that sort of moment between Rue and one of the queens, especially Queen Kong, another queen of color. Um, because Rue can obviously relate and empathize and like connect with her on that sort of level. So it was a really touching moment to see all that. Spanky Jackson next. Her ad was hilarious, delusional, and chaotic, but in the best way.
She was giving us Pamela Anderson on the runway, and she was giving us once again Jennifer Coolidge in her
I was
commercial.
just like, I really wish they had have kept the thing that they got rid of in the process of them just walking up and punching her in the tit. I thought that would have been so much funnier. Like,
I don't know. I
even though
did like it when she did her real butch. Give me your chips.
oh, that was hilarious. But when Michelle was like, "Why would he be punching you in the tit? Why
Valid
wouldn't
question.
he?" No, but why wouldn't he just walking up and just punch in the tit? Because it would just be so stupid and just so nonsensical that you would laugh at it. You'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" But it was a very good week for Spanky.
Mm.
Molly's ad. She opens with a stolen line from Moira Rose.
What was the line?
I'm
Oh, the
standing
town
in a
I'm
town
current.
where I
Yeah.
currently am. I was just like, girl, really? You're gonna open with a quite clearly
I
stolen
knew I'd
line.
heard that before. I couldn't think where I'd heard it from. Moira Rose.
Um, I thought her ad was just a mess. Um, I didn't find any of it funny.
I feel
I
like
didn't
the
think
only reason she was safe, spoiler alert, kids, Molly's safe, was because Rue enjoyed the part where she was like, hold my hair back and said whatever that girl's name was.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, hold my hair back.
Rue thought that was funny. And it's like you keep saying over and over again, if you make Rue laugh, you're good.
Hannah's ad. Very fairy tale. She utilizes amazing visual effects. And I wrote it was just stupid, but in like a good way. Like
100%. I mean, she fought
the
a giant black swan.
the black song that was after the white random piece of white bread that she carries around with her. Like I thought that was just fucking stupid,
The
but
combusting at
amazing.
the end. It's like Michelle said, like she really, like Michelle was like, I was really worried about you, but you played it and you had every faith in the, the
Yep.
production team, the post team. But in saying that, she had the best visuals in the post edit than
Mm-hmm.
any other girl. And was that because they'd set her up for success, or was that because she actually gave them
I
a lot
wonder
to
if
work with in post? And they were like, okay,
well,
here's a giant black swan. Here she is
I
at
wonder
King's Park. I've been to King's Park. I never got to see any people playing with their bats and balls. I was too little.
I wonder if she asked because again, that's all it takes is just asking what they can and can't do. Like if she just asked and said, "Hey, can you put in me fighting a giant black swan?" They would have said no if they couldn't do it, and it would have been like, "Okay, well then I'll come up with something different." So
And
I wonder
even
if the
like her
other
little fairy tale land where she was shaving her toes, was so much
mm,
nicer than everyone else's backdrops.
again, I would say it's just come down to asking, just
Yeah.
going, "This is what I want to do. Can we do it?" Yes, cool, sweet. Let's move
So
ahead with
Hannah
this.
clearly sees, and like she has done with all of her runways, like at the beginning of the season, we were like, she should have won with the moth. She should have won with this one.
Yes,
She should have won. She sees the bigger picture. She
yes,
sees the production side of it, not just, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to pretend to be Bindi Irwin's lesbian sister. It's like there is a story to this. You can create with this. She's a content creator, essentially. Like she
correct.
sees it.
Speaking of which, Beverly Kills' ad was next, and it was
You're welcome.
horrible. It was horrible. I hated it. The concept made no sense. It didn't showcase Beverly. It didn't showcase the Gold Coast.
Thank
Like
goodness
it
there were
made
men in underwear. That's all I can say.
like the whole the initial backdrop and the ending backdrop of her in a rainforest made no sense. The whole come back to Party City where you belong. Like
While standing in a rainforest, like you would have used a backdrop of Surfers Paradise, surely. Also,
especially
Surfers
Cavill
Paradise
Ave.
is no Vegas. Just saying.
No, like the whole thing was just it made no sense. The concept wasn't there. The whole execution wasn't there. Her acting like a rough as guts lesbian younger sister of Bindi Irwin, but still looking glamorous and not looking anything like a rough as guts lesbian. Like
Or an Irwin.
it was just, I think Beverly completely missed the mark on everything in this challenge.
Well, it's like
And
they said, the judges said, she she got the assignment, which was beginning, middle, and end. That's about
Yeah,
as far as it went for me. Like,
yeah,
it
that was it.
wasn't as two queer people who live on the Gold Coast. There's nothing relatable. Nothing made, like, it was
Mm-mm.
incoherent gibberish. Sorry, Bev. Maybe you should have done
Yep.
Brisbane instead.
She dropped in a couple of names of Gold Coast things like the Aqueduct and the Strip Joint, but that was it.
No one's been on the aqueduct since before the pandemic.
We then get the dreaded question: who should go home and why? Everyone says Beverly, um, which I was expecting, and Beverly herself was expecting. And Beverly says, "Fuck all them bitches," and then names Queen as her one that she said should go home. Um,
Because, see, here's the fun thing. Rue was like, who should go home and why? Queen says Beverly because Beverly has no wins on the board. Spanky says Beverly because of the stats. Molly says Beverly, but we get no why as to Molly thinks
mm,
Beverly. Hannah says Beverly because she was the weakest tonight. And then Beverly says Queen because Queen stumbled a few times.
mm. It's always the case whenever this question gets asked. It obviously puts like you always know it's coming. Every season it'll come at some point in time, but it always throws the queens and they never know what to say. But I find every season there is always one queen that gets named by every other queen.
I think as well, because at this point in the game, if you're there and you're doing this day in, day out with each of these girls, you're all going to know who,
Hmm.
who's the outcast. Like, let's say Beverly went home weeks ago and Minnie was still there. And we know post Minnie leaving that she felt disconnected from the girls and nobody was talking to her and all of this stuff. That if she was still there, they would all go Minnie.
Yeah, 100%. It just comes down to don't think it's even that. I think it comes down to each of the queens. I find 9 times out of 10, they're not actually giving an honest answer. I find just based on watching this show, as long as I have, and every time this question gets asked, they always pick the queen that the judges have already pretty much said is going to be in the bottom. Like if you notice, there's never a case of them going, actually, I feel like this is the weakest queen based on my opinion. It's always like, oh, you guys have said that queen's the bottom. I'm going to say that queen's who I pick as well. We get to our version of Untucked, which is all of like 5 minutes of an episode. I still think we deserve a full Untucked.
Maybe that can
Hannah
be the next podcast.
Hannah comes for Beverly again. Like Beverly's in her feels talking about it, and Hannah just starts going her, just being like, just be, just be. Like I've literally got written here. I've got written here. They keep saying be, just be, and I don't fucking get it. What does that mean? Like, what does just be mean? Like it's a cop out of a thing to tell someone. Just be, just be. Fuck off with
Well,
that.
do you know what? In Bev's defense to that comment, she does come back. I feel like she was sick of hearing that same thing being said to her, because she does come back and she goes, maybe this is just me. Maybe this is me just being.
But again, I don't agree with that
No,
purely
I
because
don't either. But I think if somebody's just
she's
saying to you, just be, just be, just be, you're gonna get to a point where you're just sick of hearing it. And
like
you're like,
she's
okay.
20 she's 21. She doesn't know who she is yet. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she's about. Like that's stuff that you learn as you grow up and as you age. You determine like
Does she know who she
what.
wants to be? Just
Ugh,
be.
ugh. But I loved when Beverly turned around and told Hannah to shut the fuck up. Or no,
Yeah.
fuck off. Fuck off, sorry. She's like, just fuck off.
Also,
Um,
before, I think it was before she did that, Hannah went to say something else, and Queen put her hand on Hannah's leg and said, just let Beverly talk,
yeah.
which fair, because Hannah was really like,
Oh,
what was
it
it that
came out
you
of
said?
nowhere.
Somebody came out, somebody like a pit bull one time. It was that again.
Minnie. Minnie going at
Now
Pamara.
imagine a pit bull with those lips coming at you.
We then come back to the run to the main stage. I honestly thought Beverly and Molly were going to be the bottom two. Was
Same.
not expecting it to be Beverly and Queen. Hannah is announced as the winner. And we've got both Hannah and Spanky now on 3 wins each.
Which we didn't mention at the beginning, but Hannah said she was going to do it this week because Spanky
She
was like,
did too.
I've got
That's
3
right.
wins.
Spanky starts going, I've got 2 wins. Oh, actually, I've got 3 wins. And Hannah's like, I'm going to join you this week. We then get a lip sync battle between Queen Kong and Beverly Kills to the Beginning by RuPaul. Once again, Stan needs to throw some more fucking money in the budget for this show and get the music rights to better fucking songs. Like,
Well, I feel like the music rights to a RuPaul song comes with the fact that you've got RuPaul on contract.
no, but that's the thing is they don't have to pay rights to a RuPaul song because it's RuPaul's song, which I get, but that's what I mean. Throw some fucking money at it. Like, we've got a plethora of Australian and New Zealand artists. I mean, they don't even have to be that. We did a Gaga song 2 weeks ago. Like, throw some fucking money at this show. Get us some decent lip sync songs for the queens to battle it out to. I thought it was an absolutely horrendous song choice. The queens did as best as they could with this fucking horrendous song. But yeah, they showed off their acrobatic prowess.
So everybody online is saying how this is one of the best lip sync battles of all time.
I don't think so.
I agree with the person who said this lip sync battle was like when you're playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat and you're just like button mashing.
You sent me that meme today.
It's true. That's what it was. Same move over and over and over and over.
It wasn't even that. Like, the queens were just like flipping and slitting and jumping. Like, it was a great show of acrobatic prowess. But I don't think it was a great lip sync.
I gotta stop you there. Was it a great show of acrobatic prowess? If somebody did, really wishing I could remember the line from Bring It On, a double back handspring, but
no. Front handspring, step out round off, back hamstring, step out round off, back hamstring, full twisting layup.
If someone did that, that would have been a display of acrobatic prowess.
Yeah, again, I didn't think it was the greatest. I thought it was okay. Just, it didn't wow me. It wasn't phenomenal. I wasn't like, yeah. But I did know that Queen would be saying. Knew it.
Because you had some tea, or you had a feeling in your tears?
No, as soon as Queen and Beverly were named as the bottom 2 and this song started, I was like, Queen's staying. Like, they're not getting
the best bit of the lip sync, and I think it's the bit that everyone was like, oh my god, that was like the best lip sync, was not the strange, I'm not even going to call it acrobatics, I'm just going to call it throwing yourself around a stage, but was at the very beginning where they almost bumped into each other.
Oh, and the look they gave each other.
Like, yep. that was when you knew, you were like, these bitches are going to be like it's on, bring it on.
So obviously Queen Kong stays. Beverly Kills sachets away with her exit line, I may not be able to make you laugh, but I'll always make you scream.
In agony.
And we end up with our top 4, who consist of Spanky Jackson with 3 wins, Hannah Conda with 3 wins, Queen Kong with 1 win, and Molly Poppins with 1 win.
Shouldn't be there.
So, and we get a preview for next week, which is the makeover episode. From the preview, it looks like it's going to be a bad week for Molly and Spanky, just based on the preview. But again, previews can be deceptive. But yeah, that was this week's episode. But that was an interesting one.
It was.
So thank you once again for joining us on The Wind Up. I have been Microphone.
I have been Shaun Philip Naylor.
We don't plan any of this. This is all just ad-libbed. But this has been The Wind Up, a weekly recap show of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. Don't forget, once again, you can follow us over on our Instagram at @thewindup_pod. keep up to date with all of the outtakes from this week's episode, as well as previous weeks, and all the little backstage tidbits and gossip we have here regarding the queens of Drag Race Down Under. You can follow me at microphone with an F, not a PH. You can follow him at
Shaun Phillip Official, because one day I will be an official person.
same. But otherwise, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week for our semi-final episode where we cull 4 queens down to 3. Thank you all for joining us, and cheers.
Yes.